So let's do an overview of the SpecTracer unit and I'll show you how it works. So this is the SpecTracer. Just here is a USB plug, so you can plug it in and charge it and still use it at the same time. It's got an internal battery which lasts about 5 to 6 hours. On the bottom here is a standard size shoe for camera tripods. You've got the LiDAR here, and here is the main screen with 3 buttons along the bottom. And under there is the SD card. Okay, so let's turn it on by pressing the on and off button just here. It's now on, it's loading. During the loading phase, it will try to connect to the internet if your Wi-Fi details are in the Wi-Fi settings file. But in this case, as you can see here, that little aerial icon is red, which means it is not connected to the internet. So a quick overview of the screen. Here you've got the max distance set at 800 centimeters. You can change this by pressing this button on the right, and it will go down from 800 centimeters all the way down to 50 centimeters. Just here you've got the lunar temp, which is currently at 38 degrees. So this is known as a lunar module. And on the left we have a battery indicator. When it is plugged into a power bank or it is charging, the outside of that battery icon will be blue. In the middle you've got the main button, which is the start stop button, and the left button here, when it's not running, takes you to a menu, but when it is running you can choose between points or lines that are displayed on the radar. Let's have a quick look in the menu. So the top one, you've got Run SpecTracer, then you've got Settings, and then Firmware Update. So if we have a look inside Settings, in here you can change the tolerance, so it goes from 0 to 30. And the tolerance is, so when you run the SpecTracer, you'll see in a minute, but it creates a red baseline from right to left and a left to right sweep, and then all the other sweeps after that are yellow. So the tolerance here in centimeters is, if the yellow dot is plus or minus this tolerance value, it will detect a change and make a sound. And also here you've got play audio, so when it detects a difference in distance, it will play an audio if this is set to on. Okay, so let's run SpecTracer and show you what it does. Okay, so let's run the SpecTracer. Do that by pressing the middle button. And as we're in a small environment, I'm going to change the maximum distance to 1 meter. And now I'm going to press go. Okay, so now it's doing an initial right to left and left to right sweep. And as you can see, it is currently on points. But if I press that button just there, it'll change the points to lines, which gives a much clearer picture. So that's creating the baseline. And now all subsequent measurements are in yellow over the top. And just to show you what it does if it detects a change. So it detected that change, it made a beep sound, and also the outside of the radar image, the semicircles and the line at the bottom changes to red. So in the settings menu, if you had play audio off, it just wouldn't beep, but the radar itself will flash red, even if the play audio is off. Okay, let's turn that off. Okay, so let's have a look at the firmware updater. So as you can see here, it is not connected to the internet. So if we go to the firmware update screen, it says current firmware version 1.1, no internet connection. Please check Wi-Fi settings.txt file. So what we're going to do is we are going to take out this SD card and check the Wi-Fi settings.txt file. So you can either plug this straight into your computer. I have a micro SD card slot on mine, or you can put it into an adapter, a USB adapter, and plug it into your computer. So let's have a look at what is on the file. So here you can see that the SD card is called SpecTracer. If you click on that, you've got 3 files in here: config, license, and Wi-Fi settings. The Wi-Fi settings file is the only file that you need to do anything with. Do not touch the other 2 files, it will break the device if you edit them. Okay, so let's have a quick look in Wi-Fi settings. So if I click on that, this is just a preview of the file. So it says here Wi-Fi name, your Wi-Fi SSID name, Wi-Fi password, your Wi-Fi password. So in here, This is just my personal preference, you don't have to do this, but what I do is I put my mobile phone hotspot details in here, and then anytime I need them to connect to the internet, I just turn my phone hotspot on, restart the device, and then it will connect through my phone hotspot. So my phone hotspot is called Spotted Ghost Hotspot, so I put that in here, and I put my password in here. So let's actually look at the file. So in here, where it says your Wi-Fi SSID name, I put my hotspot details in, and then my password, and then I close the file and save it. So on a Mac, for some reason when you save it, it puts all these extra files on. I delete that one because that's no longer needed, and these two folders up here I get rid of because they are not needed. If you're on Windows, it shouldn't do that, I don't think. Okay, so now that I've got my Wi-Fi settings in this file, I'm going to go ahead and eject the SD card, and I'm going to put it back into the device. Okay, so let's plug this back into the SpecTracer and restart it. Okay, so now you can see that the Wi-Fi antenna is green. That means it is connected to the internet. So now if we go to the firmware update screen, it says current firmware, connecting Spotted Ghost, checking for latest firmware, already up to date. So that's good. However, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a new version of the firmware onto my server and run the firmware update again, and I'll show you what it does when it installs a new piece of firmware. Okay, so I have updated that, so let's go to firmware update again. So it's now found a new version, firmware version 1.2. It's now downloading that. It will then install it and restart the SpecTracer device. There we go, that is downloaded and installed the latest version. And now the device is up to date. Okay, so that is everything as a quick overview. Any questions, please ask. So there you have it, the SpecTracer Ghost Radar, currently now on version 1.1. Version 1.2 is going to be a huge update with loads of new features. So yeah, watch this space. Cool, see you in the next one.